Hello, and welcome back to Spiritual Maintenance. This is a video I have been guided to do for a while, but I have been quite apprehensive to do it because of how much against the grain it goes. Um, but I've learned that when Spirit calls, you just do and you don't question. Otherwise, it just keeps pushing. So, um, this is kind of a video on how we ended up where we are today, in this dynamic of, as people like to call it, narcissists and codependents. Um, it, it takes a lot of like very specific things to diagnose someone with narcissism. So that's why I say narcissism. Essentially, what I have seen is it is the man child, the woman child versus the codependent. So the adult child essentially has not grown up, so their behavior is very much like children, very sporadic, very reactive, um, angry, overly expressive. There's no lack of self control, and they always feel a need for others to make their life livable. And so then they seek everyone else to do things for them because it's like their brain almost didn't get the memo that they're an adult now. They grew up, they need to be doing it themselves. And then the codependents are those who will go out of their way to keep everything super smooth, keep the peace. And so they'll actually put up with the behavior of the adult child, just to keep the peace, not realizing how much of their um, soul essence is being drained. And statistically, it has already been proven that those people end up dying early because they've been drained of their life force. There's actually this piece of the brain that, when researched, it actually shrinks the more giving a person is. And I say giving because a lot of times it's like they feel they need to do that or else, so it doesn't really come from that heart space. It's more of a like, if I don't do this, the peace is not going to be maintained, yada yada yada. So essentially they're reacting to life as well instead of just dealing with the consequences. But it's because of the consequences when they were younger, were a lot more life threatening, and they also didn't get the memo that they're adults and they can be assertive now. They can call the cops, they can get help, they can, instead they're just stuck in this like frozen space of fear. Um, so yeah, and that goes back to what I have noticed, the world wars, honestly. So it's not that these, the people are bad or raised by bad people. Yes, bad things were done, bad, you know, stuff like that. But hurt people hurt people. And so it comes down to, you've got the world wars where, um, you had the women who were essentially running things. They're running the farms, running the taking care of children. They were making things happen in the homes and the hospitals. When I say homes, I mean like the group homes and stuff like that. The hospitals, keeping those food lines going. There were men involved, but those were usually aged men, or people that were not able to go to war. So their ability to help, it was there, but the women were doing most of the work. And then when these people came back from work, they stepped right back into their role of men. But then the women also realized what they were capable of, what they could do, their positive um, impact on industry. And so there was this pushback back and forth. So then you already have these, it's like resentment that was coming from these women. And then you had these almost feeling unappreciated vibes coming from the soldiers. Then you add on PTSD, the trauma of losing loved ones, um, watching your loved one die right in front of you. Those women who got those notes home of loved ones being passed. So you just have this grief, you've got resentment, you've got feelings of disrespect, all just kind of lingering in there. And then you had the baby boom. Just imagine what those children's lives must have looked like, having parents just going head to head back and forth while at the same time dealing with all that trauma. So they ended up being those peacemakers, those codependents who, if we just do this and this and this, mom and dad will be, we're not going to rock the boat. The house is going to stay safe if we just keep the peace. And then you had the others that they learned that if they talked mom up or talked dad up or loved bomb here, love bomb there, then they would get their way. And so then they could do this or that. They could get fed. They can have permission to even leave the house. They could feel safe coming home. They're for safety reasons, they learn to manipulate the emotions of the trauma adults in their life, and while dealing with trauma themselves, because it's just ongoing adverse childhood reactions. You've got this built up anger, you substance abuse, these soldiers and even the women trying to forget what they'd seen. So you have emotionally, mentally, and physically unavailable parents to these kids trying to make sense of life. And to them, you either made it or you didn't. And so then that started this cycle of they then had children. They're like, well, I dealt with this. You can do it too. Suck it up. Not realizing the level of unrealistic expectations that were put on them. And so it started this cycle of toughen up, buttercup. And just this whole mentality of how can I get out of this system safely. And again, it just turned into this codependency of we got to keep the peace, we got to cover up everything, we got to make it look pretty, or how am I going to manipulate to get my needs met? And that is what has led to today, where it has escalated so badly that you have honestly a lot of divorce happening. But it's not that, oh, it's just, it's become a social norm. It's like, no, people woke up to how abnormal this system was. So it got to a point that it needs to end. It needs to stop. And so it's creating divorce. Unfortunately, that divorce happens, but there's no healing. Instead, it's like, well, I'll find a lesser evil than this one. And I say evil, but I don't mean that they were bad. I just mean that the impact was very heavy. So then there's a less heavy one that they find, thinking, oh, this must be healthy. But then they find out, not really. It's just a little less unhealthy than that one. And so my advice is to, when you do break out of this, heal first, so you can understand that you do have a voice. Your voice deserves to be spoken. Your needs deserve to be spoken, because you are the only you. You have a reason in this realm. And if you're focused on trying to get other people to do things for you, you're giving up your right. And then if you're focusing on fixing other people, you're giving up both rights, your own and theirs, because they're not learning lessons and you're spending your energy on them instead of learning your lessons. So heal first, figure out why you get manipulated, figure out why you manipulate, sit with it, relax. The day of rest is so important because that is when you can sit with yourself and be by yourself. And if you have a fear of being by yourself, relaxing is a challenge. So do it in small steps. If you feel like, oh, I need to be doing this, I need to be doing this, you're not relaxing. I don't care if you sat in a chair for 20 minutes, but if the entire time you were thinking, oh, I have this to do and this, you were not relaxing. Relaxing is when you can let go, be still, and know that I am God. Not me, but you know what I mean. Sit to where you become still, and then that will give you the answers you need of like, this is why I manipulate. This is why I feel the need to do for others. And it's in that moment that healing can start happening. That is just the beginning, is that letting healing happen. Actually following through with healing takes a very, very strong person, because it is ugly and you're facing things that you did not even realize were as heavy as they were, because when you were in that system, that family system, that was the norm for you. And you don't realize how impactful that was until you start healing and realize, wow, that was not normal. Because then you have to come to acceptance with that and then figure out, well, what does normal look like? And then let your body be comfortable being normal. Because that is a fear in itself, because a lot of manipulators will use the normal, like oh, we're all family here, or oh, I couldn't imagine my life without you. They use all these things that you think are normal, but they're just words. So learn to watch behavior, and for an extended period of time, because they can put on these masks, but those masks do slip. So, and then listening to your gut, listening to spirit, because they can be having a mask on, but as long as you're listening, you feel that something's off, and listen to that. Truly, truly listen to that, because that's another thing that is lost in childhood, is you begin to not trust yourself, because you're seeing the mask, you're seeing the love, where it's like, they act a certain way, then suddenly, oh, well, here's a gift, and it makes it up, and you're just like, this still doesn't feel right, and they're just like, oh, you're ungrateful. So then you think, oh, okay, well, I'm the bad person. It's like, no, 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 no. So then you learned to not trust yourself because of what was told to you, what was reinforced. A lot of other things are like, oh, you're remembering that wrong, or oh, that never happened. And so then you begin to question everything about you. So learning to trust yourself again is key. But yeah, mainly sitting in that stillness and letting yourself meet you again, learn who you are, figure out what your purpose is, and just know that this system was built on global trauma, and we're just working our way out of it. And then on a note for Earth Angels, we already knew this when we chose to come here. And so we purposely chose to go through trauma and other heavy things so that it would drop us down to this timeline, so we can bring everyone back up, because we cannot reach people on low timelines if we ourselves are high vibing, because it's just like you can't be in the same spot at the same time of the highs and low frequencies. So going through trauma brings you back down, and so as you heal those around you and bring them up, or there's those that just repel and you get them next time. I don't know. But that is, and if that went over your head, I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Those who understand will get it. But yeah, just keep focusing on raising your vibration, and everybody else's will join with you. And yeah, that's enough for now. I will talk soon. I hope it helped.